Now, Matt and Danny, you put together this book. How long did it take you to write it and get it out?
The writing process was fairly swift, actually. It was the inspiration of something that had happened with my little boy. I've got an 8-year-old now. He was 6 when I wrote the book. And I was moved to write as a result of his start at a new school and the difficulties that he was having there. And I really wanted to have that time for him, to take that pain away from him, really. So having sort of found the reason to write something, it's a very short story, very simple story. Well, it's a dad trying basically to take away the hardship that his son is about to endure, to say, you know, if I could only do this for you, I would do, but I'm no kind of Superman. I can't.
And would you say this is a real-life experience? Yeah,
very much so, yeah. Inspired by a very specific moment. I can very clearly remember standing at the rails outside the school, and I had an iPod in my pocket, and I was writing quite a bit at the time, and as he was crying and led away to his classroom, I just wrote that phrase, that, you know, I'm no kind of Superman. And it got me thinking about the idea of superhuman sort of parent power, if you like. You know, we think as parents we can change the world for our children, but in reality, all we can do is set them up for a brighter future.
What's your target audience for the book,
Dan? Well, it's being aimed at Father's Day, really, because it's a very heartfelt father's message to a child, and it's been picked up by a sort of junior primary audience, sort of 7, 8, 9-year-olds, but being really well received by adults as well, who see the sort of the similarities in their own parenting.
Now, you've launched the book on the 28th of July.
We did, yes, yeah. I work for a school, and they very kindly, Hale School very kindly supported our launch, and we had over 100 people there, and sold a few copies, which is lovely.
I think we've actually got some overlay of some of the pictures in the book. We'll get those up in a couple of seconds, but let's talk to Matt. As the illustrator, what's your role?
Basically, my role is to create, not only to represent what's happening in the text, but also to create a subtext. So basically to take the story that's in the words and take it to as many possible levels.
How long does it take you to read the story and say, okay, I can draw this, I can draw this? Because you draw the pictures that go with the story, don't you?
Yeah. Well,
is it very hard?
Well, this was a bit unusual, this book. Normally it takes me, this is a standard 32-page picture book. Normally it would take me about 6 months to do the artwork for a book like that.
Why is that? Why was it different?
Because I actually stayed with Danny and Judy in their home, and we had a very concentrated 3 weeks.
So you were actually virtually living together.
Yeah, we were.
That's pretty good.
We were. So
I was putting him to it every morning.
Yeah, you know? It was a very intense creative period. I did all of the artwork in 3 weeks, basically.
Your background as writers and as illustrators, how far back does it go? Firstly, with yourself, Matt. Have you done other books?
Yeah, I've got 16 books published, and I've got my illustrations and also research. I'm also a writer. Published in about 30 other books as well. I'm also a classical music composer, but I've been published for about 16 or 17 years now.
And what would you say about this book, having to do this?
Oh, I think it's absolutely beautiful. Danny's a born poet. The language is very poetic.
Good book.
This is just the first in many books that we're going to collaborate on.
Talking about other books, Danny, is there more on the horizon for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Windy Hollow, the publishers of this, we're chatting about the next one, maybe a Mother's Day approach, with possibly the same family, and having a look at how mum fares in that. But another publisher, Little Hare, have already bought another story that we're both working on. And that's due for release early next year, hopefully.
Where can we get the book? Because I know it's out.
It is. You can buy it online all over the place, or you can buy it in bookshops throughout Perth. Certainly in the Book Cafe in Swanbourne. You can get it in Planet in Mount Lawley. You can get it from Matt's website.
And that's the cover there. I'm holding it up right now. Anything else you'd like to say about the book?
I just hope that people can see the sort of heartfelt message in it and enjoy it for that. It's a very simple story, very short story.
And is it going around Australia and around the world? New Zealand as well?
Yes, an international distribution eventually. The first wave is throughout Australia with Paribo, they're the distributors. And Windy Hollow are a small, independent Australian publisher, so they target Australia first. But up for grabs always the international rights, the possibilities of the future, yeah.